10 apocalypses that we survived. I'm tired of shit, but I can't fall asleep. It's like 3 a.m. I've been in bed. So I can't fall asleep. So let's do, I was like, I'm gonna hop on here. So if like my energy is different, that's why. But yeah, 10 apocalypses that we survived. One of y'all requested this. Let's hop into it. I'm gonna try and not be too loud. Oh, the Black Plague. That's one of them. Yeah. I think I saw like a sun. Like it showed the fucking sun.
10 apocalypses that we survived.
In the
Number
thumbnail.
10, the Black Death.
I was like, what the fuck?
The Black Death is probably the most famous plague ever to hit humanity.
Yeah.
But most people don't realize it's taken a huge chunk out of the world's population on more than one occasion. Yersinia pestis, the bacterium responsible for the bubonic
Y'all see, like, now that I'm doing this, now I feel tired. But I'm not gonna be able to like knock
plague
out.
had its first breakout appearance in
Shit's
541 CE. Known as the Plague of Justinian, the disease swept through the Byzantine Empire, killing 5,000 people a day for over a year. Eventually, around 50 million people died, 25% of the world's population at the time. Then in 1346, the plague re-emerged as the Black Death. Giant swellings appeared on victims' bodies as they fell into fevers and started throwing up blood. Oh, and they died. Anywhere from 75 million to 200 million people were killed by the Black Death. But I guess no one was massively worried about keeping exact records when all their friends were busy vomiting up blood. Roughly 60% of Europe's population disappeared, and the world population didn't reach pre-plague levels until 250 years later. There was even a third plague outbreak in China in 1855, taking another 10 million people out. Yet humanity survived all of it. Or at least, we have so far. Technically, the plague still exists. Number 9, the Ice Age.
I didn't know that.
Nowadays, it only has to dip below room temperature to send most of us reaching for a snuggie.
That's a plague.
So it's pretty incredible that humans managed to survive through the Ice Age. Yet that's exactly what scientists now know happened, at least according to research from a journal so scientifically sciencey they called it Science. The paper dates recently discovered human fossils as 37,000 years old, meaning mankind managed to tough its way through the Ice Age, which is pretty impressive considering that the Ice Age was basically 30,000 years of Mother Nature trying to freeze us off the Earth. With temperatures dipping around the world and plants dying, life suddenly became much harder. Every subspecies of human except Homo sapiens, that's us, and Neanderthals, a dumber version of us, died out. Some scientists think that we only made it through the freezing era because a few hundred of us happened to find a small warm region 200 odd miles east of modern-day Cape Town. Those lucky few are thought to be the only humans who survived the Ice Age. Yet ice literally whittled our entire species down to a few hundred people. Fortunately, our ancestors just about managed to survive sitting through the Ice Age, although to this day there is no proof that any human has ever survived sitting all the way through Ice Age 2 to 5. Number 8, 2012 solar flare. In 1859, the Earth was struck with a massive solar storm. While everyone was messing about doing Victorian-y things like trying on corsets and growing amazing mustaches, a bizarre white light appeared over Australia. Although two astronomers, Richard Carrington and Richard Hodgson, spotted the event, there was no effect to society as a whole. But that wouldn't have been the case had it happened today. You see, the solar flare that struck the Earth would have interfered with our modern power grid, crippling it and forcing us to live without power. That means no artificial light, no internet for information, no communication more advanced than shouting, and worst of all, no more selfies. The scary thing is this almost happened in 2012. In that year, there was a massive solar storm that just missed the Earth. And I mean just. If the storm had started 6 minutes earlier, our planet would have been hit, and according to NASA, we'd still be picking up the pieces. Number 7, Tunguska event.
Bro.
We're not trying to kill us with solar flares.
Imagine that shit happens. Bro. What? Nah,
Space has a simpler, if less...
No internet? Oh, fuck that.
Elegant solution.
Hell no.
Chucking giant rocks
what the
at
fuck?
us.
What am I gonna do? Ride a bike? Like...
We all know a meteorite wiped out the dinosaurs, but the event that turned the T-Rex from King Lizard to Smithsonian exhibit was far from a one-off. In 1908, a meteorite rocketed into our atmosphere and started plummeting to the ground. It landed at Tunguska in the middle of Siberia, which is just another way of saying the middle of nowhere. It's lucky the meteorite landed where it did. The impact was 1,000 times more powerful than an A-bomb, and 80 million trees were uprooted by the blast. People hundreds of kilometers away claim to have heard the explosion, and there are reports of windows breaking in nearby towns. Considering the damage one A-bomb did to Hiroshima or Nagasaki, something with 1,000 times the power would have wiped out even the largest city. Had the meteorite's path differed slightly, the comet could have hit Moscow, turning the city to dust and dramatically changing the course of history.
Holy fuck.
Number 6. Population collapse. A million years ago,
Bro.
humanity came to the brink of extinction, and the scariest...
Bro, like if Corona wasn't enough, like this video's just like showing us the like shit can really just light ease, bro. Bro, be thankful for every day, because this shit is no joke. Mother Nature's like, I love Mother Nature, but she a bitch, bro. Actually, that's not even Earth. That's not even Mother Nature. Just, bro, the shit that I don't understand. I don't know the ocean. I don't understand it. I don't know it, so I don't fuck with it. The space?
Neolithic man have found that our population
Yo,
suddenly
why they draw it like
mysteriously
that? What the
bottlenecked.
fuck?
In other words, the number of humans plummeted.
Yo, somebody was feeling some
something
type
to
of
as
way
low
with
as
that shit.
18,000. That's low enough to make human beings an endangered species. There are a number of theories as to how this happened, but the two most prominent theories are these. Either A, we suffered from some mass extinction event like a giant earthquake or a volcanic eruption, or B, we became overpopulated in one region and killed off our food supply there. Whatever happened, it was enough to have a long-term
People need to
impact on the
stop
population.
fucking,
Fossil
man.
evidence suggests that the number of humans stayed around 18,000 for tens of thousands of years. With a headcount so low, humans were extremely vulnerable, and another cataclysmic event could easily put an end to our species, permanently. Number 5. Shanxi earthquake. If you woke up to find 60% of China had died, it'd probably feel something like an apocalypse, especially if all those people had just been wiped out by a single event. Well, that happened once. In 1556, Shanxi...
Nah, don't make me feel bad. Nah, dude, no.
So powerful,
That's so
it reached
fucked.
7.9 on
That's
the Richter
fucked
scale.
up.
For the non-earthquake
Bro,
experts
now I feel
among
like-
you, that's 10 times as powerful as the earthquake that devastated Haiti in 2010. The impact of this
Bro,
China
like,
shake...
why? Like, I'm already like tripping about like death, and now you show me that, bro. What? Like, I just skipped it. I didn't even want to know what she was crying or he was crying about.
event was massive.
can't, man.
830,000 people died. That
Yeah,
may
that
not
really
sound like
blew
a
my-
lot
damn, I'm
compared with
really
the
sad
Black
now.
Death or the Ice Age, but actually it was a whopping 60% of the population of central China. That's the equivalent of an earthquake killing 780 million people nowadays. The cost of the damage is impossible to measure, but it almost caused the Chinese government and economy to collapse. A similar collapse today would bring the world economy to its knees, sparking chaos and destruction around the world. Number 4. Permian-Triassic extinction. By now, you've
Fuck
probably
does
got
that
the
mean?
idea that mankind has survived some pretty intense things. We've been hit with diseases, natural disasters, and giant rocks from space. Yet we've clung on and outlived it all. But humans almost didn't get the chance to be plucky little survivors. In fact, we were almost wiped out long before we even existed. Way back in 250 million BCE, when we were still handsome little rat things, there was a mass extinction event that almost ended life on Earth. Though there's disagreement as to what exactly happened, many experts agree that the formation of the massive continent Pangaea blocked the oceans around it from flowing properly. This led to the water becoming stagnated and deadly. Bad news if you're a little rat thing. The stagnant water poisoned almost everything in it, killing 96% of all marine life. But it didn't stop there.
Shit.
Not having a reliable source of clean water also proved fatal to 70% of land-based species. The Permian-Triassic extinction was so devastating to the Earth that NASA refers to it as the Great Dying. Fortunately, our ancestors managed to struggle through, and now you get to sit here watching YouTube videos. Number 3.
Bro, these motherfuckers
Spanish
got jokes,
flu.
huh?
We've already seen what the bubonic
Alright.
plague could do when let loose on medieval Europe, but in those days
Try
the
and keep
most
it light.
advanced medical science got was saying, Just throw some leeches at it and try not to upset any witches.
Bro,
For a plague to
what
be
the
as deadly in the
fuck?
20th century, when we had a
What the
decent grounding in
fuck?
disease prevention, seems almost
Ew.
impossible. Yet that's exactly what Spanish flu achieved. In 1918, Spanish flu spread rapidly around the world, infecting 250 million people. The disease turned having a strong immune system into a deadly weakness, causing bodies to overreact to the pathogen by sending countless T cells to the infected area. These cells were often sent in such high concentrations that they blocked the airways to the lungs, causing people to drown in their own fluids. Basically, the disease tricked your body into doing the equivalent of trying to remove facial acne with a shotgun. The disease disappeared by the end of the year, probably mutating into a less deadly strain of flu, but in the short time it had killed 50 million people. A re-emergence of the Spanish flu remains Bill Gates' biggest fear for the future. In fact, he rates the odds of it happening within his lifetime as 50-50. Number 2. World War
So that
II.
means it's for sure gonna happen in
You
mine,
don't need
right?
us to tell you that World War II was a pretty big deal.
I don't wanna be
Over
around with that
25
shit.
million soldiers perished in the conflict. and
I'm not
50
trying to be
million
around for
civilians
that
were murdered.
shit.
Add in the victims of the Holocaust, and that brings the total to a staggering 85 million deaths. But the war was almost even more deadly than that. We now know that Hitler had his Nazi scientists working around the clock to develop a nuclear weapon. From 1939 onwards, the
motherfucker was
German nuclear
insane,
program
dude.
grew even closer to successfully splitting
Hitler
the atom.
was
Some even claim that they were on the verge of
out.
completing an atomic bomb, and that he already had plans drawn up to nuke London and New York. In a gratifying display of karma, the fact the Nazis were never quite able to rain nuclear hell down on us was in large part due to their own bigotry. All the prominent Jewish physicists in the country had been killed off or fired, leaving the Nazis without many of the leading experts they could have relied on. Number 1. Toba supervolcano. When you hear the term supervolcano, you know things are about to get real, and the Toba supervolcano is no exception. As devastating as all the other events on this list have been, this was the closest mankind ever came to extinction. In 70,000 BCE, while humans were still learning which end of the spear to use, the Toba supervolcano suddenly exploded. And we mean exploded. Experts at the real and epically named Volcanic Explosivity Index describe the eruption as mega-colossal. Yet this thing was so big it caused scientists
Mega-colossal.
to make up a word just to convey its awesomeness. The heat and power of the eruption vaporized 2,800 kilometers of surrounding rock, sending it all into the atmosphere. For comparison, the Mount St. Helens eruption in 1980 only managed to destroy 1 kilometer of rock. As you might imagine, 2,800 kilometers of rock dust being blasted into the sky isn't great for the environment. The dust blackened out most of the sun's light for 6 years. With little plant life and increasingly sparse prey, most people starved. The global population dropped to around 3,000, and the number of breeding adults left may have fallen as low as 80. Yes, if 80 people hadn't screwed, we wouldn't be here today. That's pretty scary, but there is good news. The fact that only the smartest and most resourceful humans managed to survive probably made us a better species in the long run.
Oh
So
god.
those were 10 apocalypses that we...
Natural selection, right? That shit's fire. It's, you know. Should you hide in a fridge during a nuclear? Okay, this is probably important. What? Dang, dude, bro, this video. Why'd y'all? Who the fuck recommended me this, man? This is really just. First, like, now I'm just tripping over death, and then that ad, that really, wow, that sucked. Yeah, I gotta, hey, you know, I think we should leave on a positive note. Look, man, what's gonna happen, happen. What the fuck, bro, I'm so tired, but I can't fall asleep. It's the most bullshit. Okay, what's gonna happen, happen, man. Live your best life. And like live it quick, cause shit, bro, this shit might happen tomorrow. Like, who knows?